And we are back with another episode of Dopamine Dialogues. And today in the home studio, I am very blessed and honored to have Mrs. Tina Traill. Did I say that correctly?
You did indeed, Tina Traill.
You are one of those connections, and this is why I began Dopamine Dialogues. It was to have meaningful, deep conversations with beautiful souls. And I remember the very first time I met you was at What the Fit gym, which we are going to talk about today, and also some of the other work Tina does. But starting with What the Fit, my daughter Maya does aerial silks there. And I hadn't met you before, but I think you were away in Australia.
I think I was in Australia, yeah.
And the first time I saw you, I just felt at home. There was just something about your energy and your vibrance. As Tina sits here, the vibration is just emanating off of her. It just made me feel at home. And not to mention your baked pesto sandwich, which absolutely tastes like magic and love.
Thank you.
So Tina runs the coffee shop, right?
I do. It's called Forfeit Health Cafe, and that's inside What the Fit For gym. So my daughter owns the gym, and I own the coffee bar. And then I do the gardens, painting, hosting, chatting, anything that needs doing.
And what I loved, and this is what I want to chat to you about today, is what I loved, from what you said about the gym, is that it is a community-based gym. So your daughter, you mentioned that your daughter wanted the gym to be community-based and not commercial-based.
That's exactly what she said. She always wanted personalized, not commercialized. She had a vision for the gym. She had a vision for how she saw the community coming together, that it would be a place for people to train, get fit and healthy, but also to find friends and to socialize. So we have a braai every now and then at the gym. You've seen the gym. It's big and it's open. It's got big barn doors.
It's beautiful.
Through breeze. We've got plants everywhere.
Art on the walls.
We've got gym cats who come in. People are allowed to bring their dogs. We accommodate for children. We have beautiful gardens. And that was what she wanted. Those were her visions. I just helped her. And then I asked her, she said to me, Mom, I want a coffee smoothie bar in my gym. So I said, okay, Storm. I said, can I run that? She said, Mom, you don't know anything about hospitality or coffee. I said, no, Storm, I don't know anything about it yet.
Wow.
So she said, well, okay, Mom, you give it a go. And so I did. And we've created the coffee bar to enhance the community at What the Fit For gym.
And it is the most nourishing coffee bar. And I mean it when I say you can taste the love in the coffee and in the food. And you don't only, and what I noticed about you is, whoever walks through that door, you remember their name, their story, and their sandwich order, and their coffee.
Most of the time, I'm actually pretty good. I think we've got about 200 gym members, plus all the people who come in from paddle. And I make a point of getting to know each and every person. It doesn't matter your color, your creed, your sex, your religion, nothing. You're just human and part of our community. I remember all the dogs' names. They're sometimes easier than the people to remember. Because that's what makes you feel at home.
Yes, you have a very strong matriarch energy in that space. So where did What the Fit For come from? The name, the concept, how Storm started it?
So Storm was the one who came up with the name, and we were sitting for hours just playing with names. And I don't know, What the Fit For just struck. And we all went, yes. And that was it, What the Fit For. She knew she wanted a logo. You know, like the Nike logo and Adidas or even Apple. You see their
Simple.
logo, you know it. It's so simple. And so she wanted the simple logo, which is what the 4 is. And so when you see the rectangle, the triangle, and the circle, you can see it, exactly. And that was what she wanted. So that was how that came about. This was Storm's creation. She knew how she wanted her gym to be, to feel, the size. She knew what she wanted. And we literally sat around a table. She was looking to buy a building, like buy a home or house and convert that into a gym. And then COVID came along. And what did it do? It absolutely cancelled all the gyms. They were the very last group of businesses to be put back at the end of COVID. And so a lot of them closed down. And for Storm, the 2 gyms that she had worked at closed down. She was staying at her godfather's house in Pools Off. And she convinced him to eventually rent her the double garage that he had. She said, can't I turn that into a gym? And he said, okay. And so she started that. We started in her garage. And then at the end of COVID, she said to me, Mom, I've run out of space. I've got nowhere to expand and nowhere to go. I don't know what to do. And we'd gone for dinner at the local kitchen. It wasn't even called the local kitchen then. They just started renovating it. And we had dinner with friends. And then my hubby and I left there. And sometime that week, I said to Storm, why don't you look out of the box? Why don't we find a piece of ground, a piece of land? You rent the piece of land in the area and build what you want. It would be cheaper to build a warehouse type construction than to build anything out of bricks and mortar.
Right.
So we didn't really know what we were looking for.
So that's where the warehouse type...
Yeah, because we were told when I went to speak to... I actually just sent an email to Richard, who's our landlord there at 33 Tropont. And I said, my trainer is looking for... I didn't say it was my daughter. I said, my trainer's looking for a space to build a gym. She wants to rent some land. Would you be interested? And he said, absolutely. Tell her to come and see me. That was at about 11 in the morning. And I think at 1:30 that day, Storm had her first meeting. And then he said, sure. And then the whole property was just a piece of felt. And he took her down and he said, well, you can rent 500 square meters down here. And then she was like, okay. And then she was like, Mom, what now? I said, I don't know. You need to find somebody you can build within your budget. And she found this amazing man, Albert, and he does a lot of work in Doha and Qatar building those type of structures, but then they clad them and turned them into double-story houses and hotels. And she wanted the warehouse look, and he designed it with her, with my hubby sitting there as well. And that's what they came up with. And what the Fit For was born.
I love that look. So Storm sounds very much like an entrepreneur. I'm assuming she gets that from you, because in speaking to you in the short little conversations we've had, I think you've mentioned 3 or 4 businesses.
Yes.
That you're busy with. How did you raise an entrepreneur, especially being a woman?
I think it comes from telling your children that they can do something and not what they can't do.
Oh, I love that.
I remember Storm and her brother, they wanted to climb trees. We don't say, don't climb the tree. We go, climb the tree, climb with care, look where you're going. I never told my children they can't have taste something because they won't like it. So if it's curry or it's chili or it's, taste it. If you don't like it, don't have it again. So quite a lot of discipline as well, where they grew up with their dad and I in a house where, yes, we're privileged in Southern Africa that we have a lot of home help. But the home help was there for me, not for the children. They had to still tidy their rooms and make their bed.
Right.
Yeah, they had responsibilities as children. Your responsibility is to go to school, study well, to the best of your ability.
So freedom within a structure.
Freedom within structure. Try something. My children will tell you I chuck them outside the house every single day and said, go and play in the garden. Not coming in the house, go. It's a beautiful day, off you go. They had to play in the garden. They had bicycles and trucks and dolls and prams and dogs and play. Go get dirty.
Yeah.
So I never minded if my children got dirty.
I love that. And how did she persevere with this idea? Or when did this vision start and how...
I'm not sure when the vision started. Storm finished school. She finished high school in Australia because we had moved there. So she went to high school in Australia and she absolutely loved school. And then, I don't know why she loved school. And she did a lot of graphic design and stuff like that. She didn't know what she wanted to do. She was also she's always done gymnastics. She's always done extreme sports. She's always wanted to do everything there is in the sporting world. And when she finished school, her and her friend were going to travel. And Storm travelled for 5 years. She did the entire world. She paid for herself to go around the world. She came from Australia back to South Africa. Then she based herself in London. And she had a job and accommodation. She had 2 jobs and accommodation within the first 8 days of being in London. And then from there she worked, waitressing in the pubs. And she saved her money and she travelled the entire world. Until after 5 years she said, Mum, I'm done. And she came back to South Africa and she said, I'm going to study sports and science and personal training. Said, great. And we found a place in Rivonia and she went and studied there for 2 years. And then when she'd finished doing that, and she still waitressed and did everything she needed to do to earn money at the time, she's never asked for anything, Storm, ever. And she built all of this herself. And she started buying up gym equipment in COVID with gyms that were going under. She went and bought their equipment and stored it all.
That's amazing.
Super clever. So I don't know where she gets that from at all. She just does stuff.
Like you do.
Yeah, she's got great vision.
Yeah.
She has a whole concept of where she wants to take What the Fit For gym to. She's not finished. She's just growing.
What do you think are the qualities or the elements that make an entrepreneur successful? What advice would you give to the listeners that are wanting to start something new? Or even myself, that I've just taken a leap and I'm feeling a little bit frazzled.
Yeah.
What advice would you give us?
Breathe.
Okay.
Breathe. I always say, just breathe. First of all, breathe and then just do it, because you don't know at the moment that you can't. So sometimes I think being an entrepreneur is easier than studying just one thing and going, I'm only going to be that. Most entrepreneurs who start their businesses in a garage or in a building never know they can't. They don't know the pitfalls. They just jump in. So I think for an entrepreneur, you just have to get going, one foot in front of the other, one hand in front of the other. But you got to have like a dream. You got to have a dream of what you want it to be. And I always think businesses go off in different directions. You start one way, but suddenly something else comes out of left field and you think, oh, I didn't think about that. Maybe that's where I'm going to head.
Right.
You just have to have a go.
And flow with it, right?
And flow with it. I don't like the concept of anybody can be anything they want. I think, no, they bloody well can't. You know, not everybody's going to be a doctor. Not everybody's going to be a lawyer. Find something within your wheelhouse and pursue that. I always said to both my kids, find something you love to do, the money will come. Get up every day. If you want to do something for 16 hours a day, make sure you love every 16 hours of the day that you are working. Get up, show up, do it. Perseverance, tenacity. Don't take things personally. People will reject you. They'll tell you your idea is stupid. I can't tell you how many people have shared over the years with me. They've gone, you can't do that. You should get a real job. I've had that before. Get a real job where you work from 8 to 5 every day. But then those same people go, oh, you're so lucky. You go overseas every year. You've got a lovely home, great husband, nice kids. Like, you're lucky. And I was always taught luck is learning under correct knowledge.
Learning under correct knowledge.
You create your own luck.
Right.
I think it was Gary Player who said, you know, the more I practice, the luckier I get. Right. You just keep going. Just keep doing it. And I think if you keep going, you'll hit some dead ends, but then you go left or right, don't you? Like a maze. You don't just stay stuck. You just keep going. You don't give up.
So how did you kick off the coffee smoothie bar?
That was hilarious because honestly, we started off with Storm going, Mom, when are you going to do something about the coffee bar? And my hubby and I, and off we went, did some baristering courses. The first one we did was 3 days. At the end of that 3 days, I thought I was just going to vomit and stay awake for a year. I'd never drunk so many espressos and tasted so much espresso in my life. You poured shot after shot after shot after shot all afternoon. Theory in the morning, pulling of shots of espresso in the afternoons, different ones, making them shorter, making them longer, getting the tempering right, getting the grind right, testing it.
That's the practice, right?
That's the practice. Yeah. You just keep going. And we did that, and we left there thinking, wow, okay, now we know a little bit. And then we thought, okay, we need a coffee machine. But a coffee machine, you can spend 100,000 Rand or R1,000,000 on a coffee machine. So like now we don't know where to begin with coffee machines. And then a friend said, oh, I've got a friend who builds coffee machines and repairs them. Meet Andrea. And we went and we met Andrea from Utopia. And he builds coffee machines. And he takes secondhand coffee machines and he turns them into pieces of art. They're beautiful. If you look at my coffee machine that I have, I think is about 25 years old. It's magnificent. And so we started with a machine, then we needed a grinder. Then you need 2 grinders. So we have bought 2 grinders, my hubby and I, and the coffee machine. And we took that to What the Fit For gym, took a table from home, a sturdy table, because the coffee machine weighs 100 kilos, and plonked it on a table. Went and bought some cups from Macro. I still remember taking photographs of our first Macro shop. Then we had to find coffee. Now we needed a coffee.
You got some photographs of your
Yes,
coffee.
I actually have lots of photographs as we've gone along. And off we did our Macro shop and bought cups and lids and stirrers and sugars and stuff. And then we found our coffee, which came also through Andrea. And we found a company called Capulus. And they supply our coffee as Filicori Zucchini. We have an Italian coffee, and it had to be very specific to the gym. Storm said, Mom, we're going to have coffee in the gym. Can't have wishy-washy coffee. You've got to have coffee with a maximum caffeine hit, because these are people who are training. You want the buzz. You want them feeling alive on their coffee.
Even the coffee
is thought of. So, yep. So we have that brand of coffee, the Filicori Zucchini, and
I love how that fits with the brand of What the Fit, though.
Yes, it's wonderful. And so Bradley, he had just started Capulus Coffee, and he introduced us to the different coffees. And suddenly we had coffee, we had a machine, and we had cups, and we'd done a course, and we still had no clue really. And so we invited all of our friends, everybody we knew. We just sent messages out: come and taste our coffee. Let us practice on you. You know, if you want to help cover some of the cost of the coffee, pay 10 Rand. And honestly, the first cup of coffee I ever made for somebody, and my hands were shaking. I was like, oh my God, do I know what I'm doing? And that's how we started on this table.
Because you do it so naturally.
Now I do. But they say, you know, you need to pull 500 shots of coffee to start getting it right. And that's what we did. We had this rickety table. We had our coffee machine. We didn't have a bar. We had a fridge, because Ian had bought a Coca-Cola fridge long ago. So we had a Coca-Cola fridge, nothing in it. Then we knew we had to buy milks. And then we had to start finding suppliers. You can't just go to Macro and buy takeaway cups and lids. It's too expensive. So we had to start finding suppliers of everything that we needed. And then there's a chap just down the road from the gym called TJ. He owns the wood that our bar counter is made of. Mm-hmm. He does that live edge wood. And he came along and he wanted to train at the gym. And then he told us what he did. And my hubby said, okay, great, build the bar. And they built the bar. And suddenly we had a space.
What's amazing about what you've just shared is, I don't know if you found, but when you spark an idea or a vision, you suddenly start meeting people that can help align with that vision and support you in some little way. Like Andrea with the coffee machine, and then TJ.
Yes.
Do you find that when you start on a new venture that you just suddenly meet the right people?
It's exactly like that. Do you remember being pregnant with your child, your first child?
Yes.
Suddenly everyone around you is pregnant. All you see are prams, cots, bottles, nappies, babies, pregnant outfits. It's exactly like that with the business. Suddenly you're aligned with coffee, we're aligned with cups, you're aligned with milk, you're aligned with all of that goes with it. And those people they almost like pop up out of the woodwork. You just got to trust the process.
I love that analogy, because pregnancy is birthing something.
Yeah.
Right? And when you're creating a business, you are effectively birthing something new into the world.
Yeah, exactly that. And so all these people just kept arriving. And my hubby's very skillful. He did all the lighting for Storm in the gym, literally all of the electrics for her, all of the plumbing for her, all of the sewerage for her. And We did all the woodwork for the bar ourselves. We literally, my friends and I, we painted it, and then we cut it, and Ian would drill it up and we'd cut the next piece and he would put it up for us. And he did all my plug points for me. And then we realized we needed to put the huge coffee machine higher up. And then I realized it was probably too high, and anybody short and little couldn't reach it. They had to stand on a little stool to get to the coffee machine. And suddenly we were making coffees. And then we were selling coffees. And then we were selling waters. And then sandwiches came a year and a bit later.
Okay.
They came much later, because we had to get the coffee going first before I had to understand the business. How much coffee do we have? How do we market it? How do you sell it? How do you know? And that's where Bradley from Capula's Coffee was so helpful. And Andrea, who built the coffee machine, him and his sister were phenomenally helpful. And then all our friends were popping in. They helped put the floor down in the gym. My other friends donated us compost. People were giving me succulents and plants for the gardens. And people were just coming in. And all our mates sat on the floor, nailing the floor down one afternoon.
That's amazing.
It was amazing.
That is community.
It was big community.
And so the energy that's infused in that gym
Yes.
is of community.
Yes. Storm had so many people helping. And in fact, I have a friend of mine, I put a plea up on Facebook. I needed extra bricks. I needed some sand. I had a list of things that I was looking for. And I said, listen, I don't normally ask for myself, but this is what I'm looking for. If anybody has bricks lying around, or some sand, or some whatever it was a long list. My one good friend at that time was living in Dubai, and she sent me a chunk of money. She said, it's already in your account. She said, take it and buy whatever you guys need.
Oh my God.
And she did. And then somebody else put money in my account. Another friend said, here, I've given you some money. Go and use it. Go and buy your bricks that you need. And people just donated. Somebody else donated us laborers, 5 of them, for like 4 days, to come and help lay. A part of the flooring Storm used was conveyor belting. And it's heavy. And, just 10 meters of the stuff weighs 300 kilos. It's got steel in it. And people came along and helped move these great big weighted conveyor belting to get the functional floor done for her.
That's amazing.
Honestly, the people were amazing. And then people kept popping past. They kept coming down and going, what are you building? What is this? Because it looks like a big giant shed in a way, doesn't it? Like a warehouse. Like, what are you building? Like, it's just a gym. They were like, wow, that's so cool. And then somebody else came past with plants. And then there was a signage man who popped in and he helped with the signage, but he also bought succulents with him.
Oh my word.
Honestly, people were amazing. 2 of my friends are artists, and they came and helped me finish the design on the bathroom doors of the black and white 4s and the shapes and everything else. They helped with that.
By the way, the bathroom is called the escape room. Why?
It's the only place you can hide from the trainers.
Oh! I thought about that this morning.
Yeah.
After my first session with Dylan.
Yes.
So, how many trainers do you have currently?
Storm has 8 trainers
8.
in the gym.
Okay.
And then there's also the circus school, Twisted Cirque, who do the aerialists. They do the silks and the lyra, trapeze, and chains. And because her building was so high, it's 6 meters on the one side, the space is perfect for the aerialists.
And how did these trainers find their way into What the Fit?
They just did. Storm did advertise for trainers, but somehow the first trainer came along as a beautiful girl, Danny, who's now working in Qatar at the moment. Somehow she had broken up with her boyfriend, had to move back home. Storm had broken up with her boyfriend. She'd moved back in with us while the gym was being built. And she met Danny, and her and Danny they were the first trainers in the gym, the 2 of them. There was nobody in there most of the time until they got the odd one client here and there. And then Caesar came along. I don't know how Storm found Caesar, I can't remember. But he suddenly started working there. And then we had Charlie came in. And he was just a junior, and then Charlie started, and then Mish came along, and then the 2 Dylans, the Dylan who trains with you, we had another Dylan as well who was working in the mornings. So we had the 2 Dylans. Then we have Casey. You probably haven't seen Casey yet. She works odd hours during the week. Then obviously there's Storm who's training in there, and then we have Ben and Gerard from Twisted Cirque.
That's amazing.
They just all came along. I can't tell you how. They just found Storm.
Fit it in.
They just fit it in.
And something you said that I found very profound, because this week, in trying to figure out where my offering lies, I was very scattered, all over the place, thinking of this idea and that idea. And when you said the sandwiches only came a year and a half later because you needed to get the coffee right first, that stood out for me. So how did the sandwiches come about? Like, when did you realize, okay, now it's time to diversify?
Because I figured out that if we want to earn more money in a coffee bar, the margins are small and you need people. And what do people do? They need to eat. And I've always known that if I was going to make toasted sandwiches, they had to be exceptional. I've always done this. I've always cooked at home.
They are exceptional.
Thank you. And so I knew that I wasn't going to buy mayonnaise. I was going to make it. I knew I wasn't going to buy sun-dried tomatoes. I was going to make them. I knew we were going to have pesto in our sandwiches, the one that you were speaking about. So I know we needed good homemade pesto. I knew that I wasn't going to faff with breads.
Is that all homemade?
Every single thing.
Even the sun-dried tomato?
Yes, everything is made by us.
No wonder you can taste the magic in it.
You can. And then I knew, because we are a coffee bar, you can't cook. If you're going to cook in a restaurant, you've got to have absolute extraction fans. Your kitchen specifics change completely. So I knew we weren't going to do that. Couldn't make sandwiches in an open panini grill because there's too much smoke involved in that. People are gymming. You can't have them smoked out with the smell of cooking of food, because they don't all like that.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, maybe an air fryer. Then I had to figure out how I was going to bake a sandwich in the air fryer without setting fire to it. Because if you want to bake a sandwich and get all the cheese to melt, you can't have the sandwich open because all the bread is burnt before you've melted the cheese. Then I figured out parchment paper. So our sandwiches are wrapped and they're baked. And then when I open them up for the last 2 minutes, and then we sprinkle Parmesan on them, they get some oregano and some sea salt, and they're baked.
Oh, they are absolutely divine. Do yourself a favor and make your way to what the fit, even if it's just to taste the baked pesto.
Thank you. So I also knew sandwiches, don't go mad with fillings. Choose a few simple things. Honestly, the amount of research I was doing on restaurants, and that the restaurants or coffee bars where their menus are too big, you can't support that in the kitchen. How do you know how much cheese to keep, or chicken to keep, or tuna to keep, or steak to keep, or whatever you're doing?
And then you end up wasting
and you waste
well,
it.
right?
You can't afford to waste it because there's your money. We also weren't allowed to cook anything that the local kitchen were doing. Not allowed to stand on their toes at all. And so we had to find, it had to be smoothies. And so it was the smoothies, and they came before the sandwiches, and then the sandwiches came. And literally I spent hours in the kitchen making sandwiches, wrapping sandwiches, figuring out how to make them amazing, to choose really good ingredients. That was my thing as well. I don't want anybody to open my sandwiches and go, gosh, where's the cheese? This said ham. Can't find any ham in there. What kind of a sandwich is this? Or if you're having a cheese and tomato sandwich and you bite into it, and the tomato is so thick and so hot that now you've burnt your tongue and your lips, and you've spat the sandwich out, and you put it, honestly, so we don't do that. Our tomatoes are finely sliced in one direction, that they go on the bread. There's cheese underneath, then there's tomato, and then there's ham, then there's more cheese, then there's the top slice of bread, then there's butter on top of that. I don't use any margarine, we only use butter. Then there's sea salt, then there's oregano baked, and then Parmesan for the last few minutes. And so when you get your sandwich, you get a meal.
It is absolutely divine.
Thank you. So that's what I do there, and I make sure everything is superb. My ham is not just a cooked ham, it's an Italian ham from Cremelat. And so I go there for my hams. And then we sourced our cheese. And that's just, if you're coming to us for a sandwich, I want you to have the best that can be made.
Do you know what I love about what you're saying is, and this word keeps coming back to me, if you're going to be successful, then authenticity is very important. In showing up as who you are, but also in your service or your product. And what you're describing now is organically authentic. Everything is homemade and sourced with love. I mean, even the design of the sandwich has been thought through, and it shows how much of that you end up tasting. You can, when you take that first bite of this baked pesto that my son loves as well, it's just like, oh my, it's just a whirlwind of flavor in your mouth. So, and this is the important thing as well, I think, for entrepreneurship, is the love that you put into the little detail, that people don't necessarily see, but it shows, or it manifests in the final product or offering.
I agree with you. Have you ever had somebody make you a cup of tea who hasn't want to make it?
Yes, my daughter.
They slap the cup down, the tea goes in the tea, the tea's in the mug, they pour some boiling water over it. If you have milk, well, that's just slapped in there, and then the tea bag's squelched around for a second and then dumped on the side, and then they go, here, Mom. And it's like thrown at you. That tea's going to taste terrible.
Yeah.
Because there's no connection between her and that cup, and her mom in that moment if she's making it for you. You've got to want to make it. I was always taught, I did the most amazing workshops along my journey, and TAG, which is Think, Act and Grow, taught me. Whatever you do, you put your energy into it. People will taste it, feel it, sense it. And so if you're angry and you're making dinner for your family, you may as well go to Kentucky Fried Chicken or McDonald's, because that's the quality of the nutrition that you're putting into your food when you don't want to make it. Don't do it. Everything needs to be done with love. Everything needs to be done with authenticity. You've got to feel it, and you've got to make it with such love and joy and hope.
And soul.
And soul for the people that you're giving that to. I want people to say, to sit there and go, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Well, you're winning at that.
Thank you. Thank you. When you serve others, I think that's the greatest gift you can give another human being, is to serve them.
That's actually a quote on my website, is by Gandhi, is that the greatest service is in serving others.
Yes.
I'm paraphrasing now, but I love that.
I really believe in that. If you can serve others, it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, I'm turning 60 in a few weeks' time, and I still sweep the floor. I still mop the floor. My staff will tell you I wash the dishes. My staff will tell you that I work from 5 in the morning till 7 at night. I never ask anybody to do something that I'm not prepared to do myself. If I have to climb up on the ladder and clean the ceiling, then that's what gets done. I expect everyone to do it. You just do it. You get your hands dirty in life. You don't get far if your nails are half a kilometer long. And it's true. You can see anybody whose nails are really, really long, they're not doing dishes. They're not gardening.
Right.
They're not getting dirty. They're not going on a hike. They're not grounded. They're already living with their hands on display.
Your staff, how do you train them to embody this ethos? Because, one sour face at that counter can ruin the whole experience.
100%. So I've been in service my whole life. I started off in hairdressing, and that is service to others. I have a small studio at home. But service to others is so important. If you come into work and you are miserable, and you are upset, or you are angry, or you are cross, or you are hurt, or you're feeling betrayed by something, you walk that into the door of a business, every single person in there will feel it. Your sales will go down. Somebody will come in and go, I'm not going back there. Gosh, have you seen those staff? They're so miserable. So my staff know in their interviewing process, you come to work, you show up, when you hit the gate and you walk through that gate, or you drive through that gate, you have to leave your other self behind. The worries you have over your children, or the worries you have over relationships, or your car, or your parents, or your family. You can't bring that into work with you. It's not that we don't care, but you cannot bring that in. It's a separate thing. You go back to that when you leave. You come into work, you've got to have a clean energy coming into work. You have to smile. I was always taught the smallest thing between two people is a smile. That's the closest you're going to That's your first form of communication. So they all know eye contact, smile. You greet somebody like you mean it. You listen.
Yes.
You listen. And you listen not just, I always say, you got 2 ears. You listen twice, you speak once. You listen. And you intuit what somebody wants when they come in.
That's exactly what you did with me.
Ah.
You walked over to the table, you asked me what I was knitting.
Yeah.
Could you get, you asked if you could get me anything. And I just felt like I was at home completely.
Yeah. So my staff have arrived. Sometimes I have a very shy chap at the moment, but he's come out of himself so much because I believe you can do it. Of course you can make a good cup of coffee. Of course you can get the milk right. Of course I will teach you. It's going to take time. And nothing's personal. If I say to you, oh, for goodness sakes, what are you doing? Don't do it like that. This is not personal. This is to show you. Let's get on with it. I expect them to greet everybody. But for me, your contact's got to be your eyes first, and then you're listening. And a smile. Goes a long way. Then ask somebody their name. Hey, what's your name?
I know, you asked me my name, and then we found out that your baker's name
is also
the same.
Yes, also Sarika, my beautiful soul.
So, touching on listening and, connecting with the eyes, and I wasn't surprised when you said to me that you do counseling work. Because there was a day at the gym where I thought, I could do with a conversation with Tina. I literally thought that. Like maybe Tina would have some advice for how I'm feeling right now. And the next time I saw you, I think it was the next day, because Maya went in on the Friday and then again on the Saturday. And you mentioned that you do counseling work. Tell us a bit about that.
So, sure. So I started counseling. I moved to Australia. And in the process of moving to Australia, I was like, I can't live in this country. But I also don't want to be married. I was done. I couldn't. I just couldn't anymore. I thought, this is my chance to have a clean break for myself. And if I was going to be divorced, I was coming back to Southern Africa because this is where my community is based and my family are now living in Southern Africa. And my friend said, why don't you phone Lifeline in Australia and get some help for yourself, which I did. And when I came back to South Africa, I looked up Lifeline here and I signed up to do their course. It's a full 15-week self-development course. It's not just about counseling. It's about listening. It's about hearing. It's about your triggers. And I worked there. And then when I'd finished all my training, you have an interview process with them. And they tell you whether they feel you can go on to counsel or whether this is not the right route for you. Because you hear things that most people would never even know is out there. And I worked for Lifeline for 8 years as a volunteer on the phones and face-to-face counseling. As a volunteer, you volunteer for Lifeline.
Wow.
There's no payment. You do X amount of shifts for them. And so I would do some nighttime shifts. Those are particularly testy. And then daytime shifts as well. And I absolutely loved it. I got voted the most unshockable counsellor they've ever had.
Most unshockable.
Unshockable. Didn't matter what you told me over that phone, I can sit and hold space with you. Doesn't matter what you've done. You're a human being. You often meet people or you hear something on the news and you see, gosh, that person went and shot and killed 10 people. And then you have to wonder, what went wrong in that person's life that is what they've gone on to do. Or someone who's taken their life. We touched a little bit on suicide, you and I, when we were chatting. And it's something that doesn't scare me. So most people are terrified of suicide or suicide calls, or if somebody says they want to die, nobody knows what to do. They'd rather run away. And I can sit with that space. That's something I can do with ease.
What called you to this work?
Do you know, so in England you go to school very young, hey? You go to school in the year that you turn 5. The school year starts in September. I turned 5 in the August, started school in the September. I was very young. I'd never been to nursery school. I was absolutely terrified. I hated school. It was awful. Told my grandfather I'm never going back. Well, that didn't work very easily. Back to school the next day. But once I started to settle into school a little bit, I remember my headmaster, his name was Mr. Wyatt. I can still remember him. And he said to me, Tina, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I said to him, I don't know, I just want to help people. Because I'd asked him if I could help him did he need any help with anything? And he said no. And I said, well, I don't know, but I just want to help people. I didn't know what form that was going to take at all. And then as I grew older, it kind of, well, you don't go through life easily without any harsh life lessons. And so we moved to South Africa when I was 16. I was just turning 16, yeah, from London with my mom and my dad and my brother. And within a year and a half, my parents had got themselves into financial difficulties and they left my brother and I behind. They left us here in South Africa and they went to the UK. They got on a flight and they were gone. My brother at the time was about...
Was that sudden? Or?
Yeah, my brother was about 15 and a half at the time. And myself, that's how I got into hairdressing. My boyfriend at the time's mom was a hairdresser and his sisters. And she had said to him, get this child a trade. If she has a trade, she can work anywhere in the world. And that's how I got into hairdressing and into working with people. Because as a hairdresser, you generally end up as a natural counsellor.
Yeah.
As well. And that's how I got into hairdressing, because I had no support in this country. I had to...
Like zero?
Nothing.
Family?
No family, no one.
Just you and your brother?
Just myself and my younger brother. And the hairdressing salon that I was about to apprentice to, my manager there took me in. And another man who ran a borehole company took my brother in. And my brother slept on the floor of a servant's room for about 2 years. He had nothing, my brother. Not a thing. He was 15 years old. And he worked for a borehole company. And he's now done incredibly well. He's a very successful man now. He owns a multi-million rand company.
That's good to know.
But it was tough, and that's how I got into hairdressing. And hairdressing just leads into natural counselling. It's what we do with people. We're listening. You know, even if you say to me, how do you want your hair done?
Choice.
You have to listen to the person who's there. And so that's probably the base of my counselling. Started with hair, then immigrating to Australia from Southern Africa, then coming back here, doing the Lifeline work, working for them. And then I went on to study further. I went on to study counselling as well. I did every relationship course that I could find. I did quite a lot of work on suicide. One of my mentors is a social worker who specialises in suicide. And that's how I got to work with that and with people. And gradually over time, I moved away from Lifeline and into my own work.
I love how you're continuously learning. Like even like besides the Lifeline, you mentioned tag, even with the coffee, the course that you did to learn, like not just winging it, but immersing yourself in the craft of it.
Yeah.
There are no shortcuts, right?
No.
And 15 weeks is not a short amount of time to have learned,
Yeah, so
counseling.
Lifeline, they're an amazing organisation. So you pay for your first part of your course, but then for you to go on further, they cover those costs, and in return you give them shifts. So once you've got the basis of your counselling course, you then go on and you really go and study suicide, grief, death and loss, anything that's traumatizing. You go into a lot more depth. Rape, for example. HIV and AIDS, addiction. You start to cover all of those in more depth. After that first 15 weeks, you go on for another 20 weeks with them. It's amazing.
So what do you do as the most unshockable counselor? How do you handle what we would consider a shocking call? Like if I had to say to you right now that I've got nothing left to live for, and I just feel like, ending my life, and I've been having these thoughts repetitively.
I'm going to sit with you. I'm not going to find anything in your life to make you to live for, because you can't. Somebody who's in that darkest spot, they can't hear you say to them, but you've got children.
Just meditate.
Just meditate.
Do
Have
some
some
exercise.
Please put some lavender underneath your pillow.
Oh,
You'll feel
yeah.
better in the morning. No, you won't.
Exactly.
You know, somebody who's at that desperate point in their world, they're not thinking the way you and I are thinking now.
No.
At all. Their need to die is like an extreme thirst. If you ever like eaten something so salty and you just want something to drink, and you drink a glass of water but it doesn't quench your thirst, and then you think, okay, maybe I'll try like maybe some Coke, or maybe I'll try some soda water, and you drink and you drink and you drink until you're so full but the thirst is still there. And that's what death through suicide can feel like for those people who want to exit and complete a suicide. Is that it's so consuming, that thirst to die is all that they think about.
When you say complete, I love that you say that, because I don't use the word commit either,
Yeah.
because it's, it sounds like, or implies that a crime has been committed. And what you've explained now so beautifully is that it's intentional, but it's not really. I mean, you have no control over what you're feeling in that moment.
And I think for, family of people who have lost a loved one through a completed suicide, it's really hard on them. Most suicide completions, they don't leave notes.
No, it's not like the movies.
It's not like the movies. Their suicide is often meticulously planned. Meticulously, that somebody's not going to come home and find them and stop them. They think about it and they plan it, and they almost feel better after that planning is done and they know what they're going to do. So a lot of suicides, you often hear of people going, but I never knew. They looked so happy. Or every time we chatted, they seemed so happy and uplifted or hopeful, or they appeared to be doing very well. I can't understand why they took their life. They don't share everything. Somebody who's that deeply, deeply saddened in their soul, you can't make their world better. You can't. If you sat here with me now and you said to me, Tina, I'm in debt for 100 million rand and the mafia are going to come tomorrow morning and they're going to kill me if I don't pay it back. Can you help me? Well, no. If I've got 500 rand in my bank, how am I going to help you pay back hundreds of millions of rand? But what I can do is I can sit with you through the night. We can sit and we can chat, and we can listen. I can listen to you. I can maybe make you a cup of tea, can hold your hand. Because that's all I can do for you. I can't fix this problem. Even if we chat about it and we talk about it, you may find a solution, but not always. Sometimes it's not a fixable thing. You just need somebody to sit with you and to be able to hear you. That's all.
And hold space.
And hold that space. Make it safe, without criticizing, without judging. Just sit with them. Hold their hand. Sometimes it's not even about speaking. It's just about sitting with someone.
How do you maintain your energy? Because this work can be quite taxing. And well, for me, in my experience, just coaching, I haven't even gone into counseling, but just coaching is draining. So how do you maintain a healthy level of energy, of mind, of body when doing this work?
I think I was blessed with an enormous amount of energy. Anyway,
Yes.
It just arrived. I don't know how. And what I do, so if I know I'm going to be counseling, what I do is before my client arrives, I prepare myself. And what I do is I turn like a television on in my mind. I turn on the TV and you are that program. And I spend that hour just with you in that space. Then when you leave, I turn my TV off because I can't take you with me into my world. I can't take your issues with me into my world. So I literally separate it with a big TV screen. And it's an old-fashioned TV screen, the ones with the buttons that you had to turn off and it would click.
With the bunny area.
With exactly that big, fat, boxed TV. And that's how I work with my clients. I see a psychologist for myself to debrief. And I have a mastermind group of the most powerful women in my world. There are 6 or 7 of them. They're all doctors, funnily enough. And I'm probably the only non-degreed person in my mastermind group. And we meet every 6 to 8 weeks. It's around a table. We share a bite to eat. There's no alcohol involved. We do a meditation. We check in with each other to see how they're doing. If one of us has got something that they want to work on, the others are there to listen and to guide. They're my board of directors. And so my board of directors listen to me, and then they will go, okay, this is what we've heard from you today. We can see you're upset or you're distressed. How about we look at it in a different way and we reframe it for you? That is my board of directors.
I love that, because I was just thinking today that I need a women's circle. I need, especially now without the social interaction at the office, I'm going to need a woman's, like your mastermind circle, just to share and support each other. You know, it goes back to medieval times, I think, where we've lost a lot of that. The village concept. Supporting each other, where women came together to raise children, to feed each other's families, and everything was shared. How did that concept come about, mastermind?
So when I studied with TAG, which is my Think, Act and Grow, and I did this about 24 years ago. I've done TAG several times. And part of that is about supporting each other.
What is TAG, by the way?
So it stands for Think, Act and Grow. It was run by Dave Wiley and Val Wiley. Val is now sadly dead, and Dave is close to his 80s now and doesn't teach as much as he used to. But it's about, like, if we had to look at, like, your mug, you've got a beautiful mug on your counter here with sort of palm leaves on it. Other than a mug, what is it? It can be anything you can conceive it to be. It could be a beautiful vase. It could be a vessel in your garden that you could plant. It could hold jewelry in your bedroom. You've got, like, it's about thinking out of the box. What other than the obvious is that going on in your life? And that is the first time I heard about a mastermind group. It's a supportive group that holds you accountable for your actions, but they don't judge you. They're there to support. They become, for me anyway, my board of directors. And that's how that came about. It was something that I learnt through TAG.
Oh, that's amazing. And you founded it?
Yes, I did. I chose the women who are in it carefully. I know lots of people, but I knew I needed a specific group of people for this that don't judge, that have done the deep self-development work on themselves, that they've been through their own life's traumas, so they know what it feels like to hurt, to be in pain, to feel betrayed, to feel unloved, to feel scared, to feel nervous. These are an incredible bunch of powerful women.
Oh,
And
I've
so,
got goosebumps.
yeah, they're amazing. So I spend at least 5 times a year we get together for a meeting, and we help each other. And then there's something inspirational sent out every day. I run a support group as well. Every day something inspirational goes out for all the people on here that I know, and they're from all over the world. They're connected to me, but not necessarily to each other. And if someone's going through a tough time, I'll put up a message and say, listen, please send lots of love and light and extra caring and love to Sarika today. They don't know why they're doing, they just know you need help. So they all send you love and nice messages to support your day.
That's amazing. Because it's an energetic frequency, I guess.
Yes.
That is, and it's scientifically proven as well.
Yes.
It's emitted, and your feeling, your emotion does change when you're in, depending on the space that you're in, which is why I love being in your space.
Well, Storm calls the coffee bar at What the Fit For gym my coffee counselling bar. She says people don't come in there, Mom, just for a cup of coffee. They come in there for what they get from you. And it's exactly what you're saying. Your energy comes before you.
Yes.
If people don't believe that, you just need to look at a flood that is going to take part in, let's say, Kruger. And 3 or 4 days before that flood arrives, those animals move out of the... They don't have 702. They don't have a Caxton newspaper. They don't have CNN or Sky. They feel it. What do? They get out of its way. And it's the same with people. You can feel somebody's energy coming in. you can feel. If you can spend time with light-hearted, inspirational people, you will leave feeling light-hearted and inspirational. You just will. And again, for me, even working with the deeper and darker sides of people, it's okay. When I'm finished with them, I turn off my TV and I go about my day.
I'm going to steal that visualization.
Yeah.
I noticed that you are, just from listening to you, a very powerful visualizer. Would you say that that is how you manifest?
Yes, I'm brilliant at writing things down. Let me tell you, if I want to do something, I have a notebook and a pen, and I'll go, right, okay, coffee shop. What do I think I need? We need a name. We need a coffee machine. We need coffee. We need cups. We need seats. What do we need? And I just keep writing down, what do I need? We need people. I'm a great one that, if you build it, they will come. Yes. I don't know who said that, but I love that. If you build it, they will come, and that's how I feel. Get coffee cups, get coffee, they will come. Make sandwiches, people who are hungry will come in. And so the visualizing for me is about that. And the other thing I learned with TAG as well, it's how do you want to feel? Like if your business is successful, how would you feel if the business is successful? Maybe proud, maybe more comfortable, maybe more confident, maybe happier in your disposition, maybe joyful. Like how would you feel if that was working really well? Any business or anything, even just somebody who wants to be a mum. How do you think you're going to feel if you're going to be a mum? And with sick people, don't treat them as if they're sick. Treat them as if they're well. Treat them exactly as you would a well person. They will get better, hopefully. But if you treat somebody who's sick all the time and you don't let them do anything, like kids, we were talking about kids, you have to let kids do things. If you stop them because they might fall, they might hurt their knee, what if they scrape their hand? Well, your skin and your body is designed to heal itself. If you fall and you scrape it, it's okay.
100%.
You just carry on.
I had a question and now it's gone.
Isn't that so frustrating? You want to ask something and then it's like missing.
No, what I wanted to say is that is, funny enough, the most important part of neuroscience coaching, so the coaching work that I do, is you spend an inordinate amount of time, as much as necessary, on the vision. Don't go into the what ifs, or what if it doesn't work, or what the challenge is, but rather what does it look like when you've overcome this. And then the next question is always, how does that feel? Because we forget that we are feeling emotional beings. And if you can attach a positive feeling to a vision, I can't see how that can't motivate you to just continue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just to see it, to think about how you would feel. And I always say to people, like, I don't know if you've ever interviewed somebody and you've asked them questions like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite movie?
Yeah.
What's your favorite smell?
Yes.
What's your favorite place in your home? Do you like to bath or shower? Sunset or sunrise? So if somebody says to me and I'm working with them and I ask them their favorite color and they say to me, my favorite color is blue, and they're wearing only pink, I'm going, okay, where's your blue? I go, what do you mean, where's my blue? Well, where's your blue? You've told me blue's your favorite color and I don't see it on you. I don't see it on any of your clothing. So why aren't you surrounding yourself with blue that you love? Or if you love classical music but you're listening to heavy metal, but classical music makes you feel good, why aren't you listening to it? Or if the sunshine makes you feel amazing, why haven't you sat in it for 10 minutes today? Why? What's your favorite smell? Maybe your favorite smell is coffee or vanilla. Or where is it in your home? Like all the things, you have to know yourself.
Yes.
Find those things that you love, surround yourself by them, so that every time you look around your beautiful home, you see all the things you've created because they're your favorite things.
My friend calls it dopamine decor.
You see, I love that, dopamine decor. Exactly. Our homes represent us. You don't have to have an attachment to it, but you have to have a vision when you look at it.
A feeling as well.
And a feeling, that this is my home. These are the things I've collected. And I'm sure if I asked you questions about some of the things in your home, you'll be able to tell me who gave them to you, or where you bought it, or where you were when you bought it, what you were feeling when you bought it, what it does to you when you look at it.
100%. I was just about to tell you about the gecko.
Yeah, he's gorgeous.
I got him in Clarence. And I
Ah.
remember the little craft shop and the inspiration in the art of it, and the feeling of having a beer on a sunny morning
Beautiful.
on holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I always say you've got to think about how are you going to feel if you get that.
right.
You know, if I hear, so one of the things I do when I'm counseling often, if I would ask somebody to write down for me 20 words that means happiness to them. And I can get you to do it and I can do it. Some of our words will be similar, but some will not be, because what makes me happy is not necessarily what makes you happy. If I like watching the bubbles in a champagne glass and they spitting, that makes me smile. But that might not make you smile, but it does make me smile. So what is happiness to you is not happiness to somebody else. You have to understand what is happiness. It's not just the word, oh, I want to be happy. Okay, what does that mean? Well, I just want to be happy. No, let's dig and let's find out what it is that makes you happy. Does working for yourself make you happy? Reading your book make you happy? Watching your children play? Watching a cat chase a butterfly? Watching that fly just buzz around the window and eventually go outside? Like, what makes you happy?
So what makes Tina happy? What
Oh.
inspires you?
Oh my gosh! So my gardens. You've seen my gardens at the Fit for
Did
gym.
you do those
Yeah.
gardens?
Yeah, with my friend
Please tell
Katya.
me where the orange, is it orange? There's a citrus plant
Yes,
in a pot.
it's in the pot. It's a little baby colander. It's a baby orange. Isn't it gorgeous?
I love that plant.
Oh, they're so nice. So the oranges are really sour, but what we do is we take them, cut them in half, and put them in ice cubes. Fill them with water, and then we plonk those into your water. If you ask me for a glass of water with ice at my coffee bar, you're going to get a beautiful glass with all different ice cubes with different things in them.
Oh, I love that.
Hey, isn't it something? So that makes me happy. Watching my cat makes me very happy. Seeing my husband smile when I walk in the door makes me very happy. I love the smell of grass. I love coffee in the morning. Best thing for me is to walk into the gym in the morning and the coffee machine is already on and I can grind coffee. That makes me happy. Being outside makes me happy. I quite like things. I like fishing. I do, or both my hubby and I did a lot of 4x4 driving. I used to teach 4x4 driving for Ford. If you bought a Ford,
I have a 4x4
I was your
certificate.
I was your teacher. So I've been all over Southern Africa driving and working in shows. Cars make me very happy. Absolutely love
What kind
cars.
of cars?
Any car. I would like to own a monster truck and an Audi R8.
Ah, I love it.
That's it. That's on my bucket list still.
Have you been to that social? Is it social on Main? There's that place where they sell all these old vehicles. And
I know where that is.
like the
Yes.
Studebakers
Yes.
and the Bentleys.
Isn't that amazing? Like, I love things like that.
Cars.
Anything that's quite extreme.
What car do you drive?
I drive an Opel Astra 1.6 turbo, which I bought and I absolutely love it. And when I was buying it, they said, "Don't you want the 1.4? It still is powerful." I went, "Don't be silly." First thing I did when I got my car is I drove on the highway and I did 3 off ramps. I had a look to see if there were any police around. I turned it around and I did 200 kilometers an hour all the way back.
It so matches your energy.
Exactly. My friends will tell you that is what I do. I'm quite extreme. I think the scariest thing I've ever done is catch a black mamba, head it, tail it, and put it in a container. It was the only time I've ever been totally
What?
silent.
Was that in Australia?
No, it was here. We don't have black mambas in Australia. I've never seen a snake in Australia.
What?
This is here. I was doing a snake course. My hubby and I were studying to be walking bush guides, and one of our Fagaza workshop credits was to do a snake handling and snake bite course. And we handled a lot of snakes during the day, but the last snake, and there were only 4 of us who stayed behind to do the last snakes, were black mambas. We were each given a fresh one. Contrary to popular belief, snakes get tired quite quickly. And so we were each given a fresh snake. We had to catch it, head it, tail it, and put it into a container.
Oh, I thought you meant behead it and be. No, okay.
No. You
Just
catch
catch it by the
You've
head.
got to catch. You get grapplers, and then you've got to get it down, and then you've got to pick it up by its head to get the grapplers off of it. Pick up its tail, and then plonk it into a container without being bitten.
What is black mamba? 2 minutes before you're dead?
Not quite. You've probably got about a half an hour, and they can dry bite. They don't always bite to kill, but they are one of our faster killing snakes. You don't want to be bitten by. anything here, actually.
So that's another course that you did.
Yes. You must see my course. Honestly, there's so many. I just love it. I try at least once a year to find something that I've never studied before.
I love that.
Even if I don't want to use it, I might want to study stained glass windows, but I'm never going to go and make stained glass windows for the whole house. It just looks like fun. I can't sew, can't crochet, can't knit. You don't want me putting a button on for you. But if you want me to do woodwork and help build a table, I can do that.
That's incredible. So what's next for Tina?
So one of the things that I really, 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 really want to do is I want to go to Disney World. I want to go to Disneyland in Florida. That is definitely something that's on my bucket list. No, because my son lives in Australia with my grandchildren. So if I'm going to travel, I'll generally go to him because that's really important. It's family. I want to drive a tank over a car and crush the car. Okay. That is something that I really, really want to do. Like, that is something I really want to do. I'd like to learn how to drive one of the big trucks, the big horse and trailers. My family know that that's something that I want to drive. I think that's a cool idea.
Like a big Coca-Cola truck or something.
Yes, like that. I would like to. So I'm married and really happily married, but I'd really like to go on a date with Jeremy Clarkson.
Jeremy Clarkson.
Absolutely. I know. He's my total celebrity crush because he is authentic and that what he says he's going to do, he does. He's hilarious. He doesn't beat about the bush at all. I love the fact that he will brush his teeth and let the tap run. That appeals to me. Anyway, and again, all the cars. So that for me is really cool. I've had the privilege of racing a car around Swartkops. All my friends know that that's me.
Yeah.
If I was going to do anything again in life, I would probably test drive long distance for Porsche or Lamborghini.
Who's your favorite F1?
Oh, Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, I love you even more.
Lewis Hamilton, let me tell you, he is all my friends call him the taxi driver. They say he's a taxi driver. I love Lewis Hamilton. Lando Norris, George Russell, and I loved Kimi Räikkönen. When Kimi Räikkönen was racing, he's one of my all-time favorites. His personality, everything about him is just hilarious. And I wanted Storm, my daughter who owns What the Fit For Gym, to marry, who's the Australian, Daniel Ricciardo. I said, Storm, you have to marry Daniel Ricciardo. He'd make a fantastic son-in-law. He is Australian. My kids live in Australia, so I could go back and forth easily. I'd get onto all the F1 circuits. I could get to Bahrain.
Oh, that's why, not for Storm.
No, this has nothing to do with her, really. She's just the vessel that could marry Daniel Ricciardo. And she says to me, Mum, I don't even know who he is. So I have no hope of my daughter marrying an F1 racing driver. I love that, and I love bikes, the MotoGP bikes. Uh-huh. So we have Binder brothers, South Africans, who race over. I love it. So I enjoy things like that. Oh.
Adrenaline junkie much?
Fairly. Actually, I'm not afraid of very much, as you can tell with the Black Mamba. And the driving skills, and I'll go up mountains and down mountains, and I'll try anything once.
And what's next for business, do you think? Have you got anything up your sleeve that you want or are willing to share?
Not really, because businesses kind of find me. More than me just going to look for them, it'll be a flicker of an idea, and I'll go, oh, that sounds like fun, or we should make that, or we should bake that, or we should put that into the coffee shop. We should grow. So my next big thing that I'd really like to do is redesign my coffee bar completely, now that I've learnt so much.
Yeah.
Although it's only 9 square meters, it can be much better utilized than it is. So that is in the pipeline of something that I really, really want to do, is to completely change it and to open it more to the outside. I want to put in a big drop-down table, where it sort of comes up at night,
yes.
or you can drop it down and it becomes a big serving hatch. I would really like to do that. I think that would be great. So that's something on my list of things to look at for the coffee bar.
Your coffee bar?
Yeah, to expand it a little bit more. I don't have the budget for that right now, but at some point that's what I'm going to look at.
It already reminds me of those little quaint seaside coffee shops in a small town somewhere in Scotland or New Zealand, or that you just go to for familiarity. Because what I love about what you've created in the space is you're not just training bodies, you are welcoming bodies. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, you're hosting people.
Exactly.
You're inviting them like they're coming into your home in a way. And if somebody comes into your home, what do? You offer them something to drink. You try and make them feel comfortable. You chat to them, maybe you feed them. Wasn't that wonderful?
That is wonderful.
Yeah, Storm will tell you that, she'll go, my mom just wants to feed everybody. If you come to my house and you're in our home and it's lunchtime, if there's 5 people or there's 10 people, we'll feed everyone, my hubby and I. He's amazing. And we cook. We're known for cooking. Lots of cooking in our house gets done. We love it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Tina. I've absolutely loved this conversation. And I think there's no coincidence. I still believe I met you for a reason, not just for aerial silks. I'm sure a lot of people tell you this though, but I'm very drawn to your energy and I haven't figured it out yet, but yeah, I've definitely met you for a reason. And I think what this episode reminded me of is how powerful a community can be, how powerful a visionary can be, a vision, to hold a vision. But that nothing comes easy. You have to work at it. You didn't just pop up a coffee shop. You put in all the effort, all the work, all the learning. What I also loved is how you're just continuously learning, whether it's going to serve your business or not, but just following your happiness and following your passion. And I want to say thank you to you and to Storm for creating a space that doesn't just invite people to perform in, but that feels like home. The strength is tender in that gym. And the coffee is sacred. And the people there are truly seen. And thank you for that.
Oh, it's so nice. I've loved this. This has been fascinating.
Oh, excuse me.
It's been as interesting for me as it has been for you.
Really?
Yeah.
My little rudimentary home studio.
I love it.
You know what I love about what you said as well is just start from where you are. You can't wait for the perfect building, the perfect office, the perfect mic. Even if you're doing this on your phone, just start somewhere.
Just start. I always say that to people. Just start. If you have a dream and you want to make coffee, well, buy a small coffee pot and start.
Yeah.
Just start. You have to start somewhere. If you want to paint, go and get a brush.
Exactly.
And a pot of paint. And paint something, even if it's a wall.
Paint something, even if it's shit.
Yes, even if you don't
the world
like it.
needs your art.
You can paint over it. Just go for it.
100%. Any advice for the listeners in closing? General advice, life advice, entrepreneurial advice?
I would say treat as many people as you can with respect. You don't know their journey. I would probably not include politicians in that.
Even politicians?
Yeah, I don't like politicians at all. Honestly, I think they should be banned, quite honestly. You want to destroy a perfect world, put a whole bunch of politicians in it.
Right.
If you want things to work really, really, really well, put a whole group of women in it. Because women will find a solution and they're not afraid of hard work. And it doesn't matter what colour, creed, nationality you are. Women pull together.
We would.
Yeah.
I might be jealous of your coffee in Peru and you jealous of my, oranges in Florida, but we'll work together.
Absolutely. In fact, I love jealousy and envy because they can be the biggest motivators. They have their place.
A healthy form of that, right?
Absolutely. So I would say, whatever it is that you think you want to have a go at, sometimes you've just got to find a way to try it. You may end up in a slightly different direction, but have a go. And if you're going to be entrepreneurial, don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you might not be good at something, then move along. You know, that would be my advice to most people. Move along if it's not serving you. Don't get stuck. You know, I think you need more than one career in your lifetime now. I think you probably need 3, 4, or 5.
Right.
Just don't get stuck and have a go. But make it realistic. If I speak to women and somebody says to me, oh, but I want to weigh what I weighed when I was 18 and you're now 52. Well, I think that's never going to happen. Let's look at this realistically. So it's a bit like weight. Find something that's realistic. Because if you go as a 50-year-old and you want to look like a 20-year-old in your weight, your skin is going to look old and haggard and exhausted. Why would you do that? Go to a healthier weight. And I think it's like that with your ideas. Find an idea, make it fit your wheelhouse, then have a go at it. But don't start off as a florist and then decide you want to be a surgeon when you're 45. It's going to take you 20 years to get there. Be realistic. Get your board of directors. Make sure you're surrounded by people who encourage you and don't tell you you can't.
Get your board of directors.
Get your board of directors. I tell that to everybody. I've done a couple of weddings where I've done the services for people. And I always bring the group, the wedding guests, closer to me. And I give them their job. Their job is to be the board of directors for this new bride and groom. Because who's going to offer them advice? You're not here to drink and eat. You have a job to do. Your job is you've been chosen by this couple to support them, encourage them. That's what I will say to people. Get a board of directors.
I love that idea. And the fact that don't listen to people that say you can't.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Screw it. Just do it.
Screw it. So, listeners, thank you. I've loved this conversation. I might have to schedule another one with you because we've got so much to talk about.
I'm happy.
But until next time, may you also follow the signs, honor the small sacred moments, and remember that home can often be found in someone's smile.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
I love
you.
this, Rika, as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tina.